Hey guys, it's Gavin Jekyll again. I'm here recording my so-called Digital Life Part 2. As per the requirements of this video is a two-part reflection. Unfortunately, as recording this video, but Mr. Williams, if you're watching this, obviously you've been looking at it, and you and me have talked before that I do not have my volunteering hours yet, but we both agreed that May 2nd would be my day to make that up. So not quite sure how I will do the first part of this. Because I had some of this stuff is stuff based on I have to be there, so hopefully we can work out a compromise for after, but I can do the second part. That's what I'm recording the video for. So what are some differences and some similarities that I noticed when now versus the beginning? Well, at the beginning of the semester, I thought virtual recreation was a ever-expanding universe, and it has many different uses. And after being through the class and all that stuff, I can 110% attest to that being actually the case. I will say that the parts of virtual recreation, such as learning how VR and Rec Room, I thought we were gonna have something sort of in there. I thought that we would be using different types of technology and talking to different people about that type of stuff, which we did with Visit Raleigh and Epic Games. And also I thought at the beginning it would be useful for football, and as it turns out, it very much was when we had to sit down at the esports club at Hunt Library, and Mr. I believe it's Mr. Cody, I think that's his first name, the guy who runs the place, talking about how Jaden Daniels was a part using VR to help him prepare for defenses in the NFL, that type of stuff. 3 specific moments that I recall learning something new. So definitely I would say the golf simulator. That was, so it might seem kind of cliche, but I had, up to this point, I had never really heard of golf. I have heard of Top Golf, Drive Shack, all that stuff where you're outdoors, but I had never really heard of a golf simulator where you go inside and it tracks your shots, all that type of stuff. I had heard for fun, you would have golf games on the Drive Shack, but I didn't know it could show your ball speed, all that type of stuff. I thought that was really cool. Also, learning from Epic Games how they develop different games, that type of stuff, how they use certain platforms to develop land areas and stuff. I forgot what it's called, but it's an engine they use where it's you can build certain stuff, and it was it's in a Fortnite mode, but you can build different activities and stuff and all that. I also believe using the VR headsets as well. I thought those were really cool because just the amount of different stuff you can do with it. I thought that was really cool because I when we messed with it at DH Hill, I went on Google Earth and I actually found my grandmother's house in Colorado, which was pretty cool because it's very rural where she lives, and finding that specific area, and that was really cool, and also finding looking for state and my parents' house as well. So I thought that was really cool. That was really cool. One specific technology I'm more curious is definitely VR, because there's so many different uses for it. I've learned like I said earlier, Jaden Daniels, using it to prepare for NFL defenses. Also using it, I read this pretty cool article about how doctors use VR to, practice surgeries. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but, practicing surgeries with that type of stuff is really, really cool. And, especially with doctors, being so far into medical school and, all the time it takes to get through that, that is a really helpful tool, I think. How I would just, in terms of researching, I would think, just finding all of its uses and, what uses, because I would say for me, finding uses in it that help me personally. So with my job, I work for NC State football, you know, just finding ways that it can help, help players understand different route assignments or, help them line up against an offense, even if it's just virtually, that really does help them. One specific technology that wasn't in our course, I definitely think, with all the new technologies and stuff nowadays, I definitely think one that definitely comes to mind, and I gave this a big thought, is, it's under volunteering, volunteering at, or going to, like, game studio and learning, how video games are made, watching game developers. Obviously, like, this would be under the field trip category. Watching game developers, just start from, like, scratch, how they build a game. I know Epic Games gave the two gentlemen that came in gave us, like, a basic understanding, but, like, because I mean, Epic Games is right down the street, and I think having them, like, going to them and, like, them showing, like, what they do and how they develop a game, I think would be really cool. I feel it would be very enriching because it gives, like, it promotes creative thinking and, how these great minds, and, like, they get paid the big bucks for all these games, how they develop these games. Because, I mean, Fortnite obviously is a AAA title, and they big time game. It's been around since I was in middle school. So I really think that would be a great part of that. And, just a potential addition would just be, having a week where you would just go to a game studio, figure out how, video games are made. That's how I would distinguish that. So that is the end of my part 2 of my so-called digital life. Dr. Williams, I hope that when you watch this, by the time you watch this, hopefully I've already done my second part. Well, technically the first part of going to the volunteer opportunity. So I hope that you understand. Me just trying my best with this video, because I couldn't really, do the whole video with, all the stuff, all the questions I can't answer. So hopefully you understand that, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.